Oh.
Do you know what MCIHAD stands for? It is mush
Failure.
cunts in hell again, dudes. And that is what we're watching right now.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
We're
Hey,
playing a game about bubbles.
I think this
Bubbles that
game-
get stuck in your bloodstream and kill you. That's what happens if you inject an empty syringe.
did you guys notice in background
Liquid Kids.
there was a burning city in heaven? That's kind of appropriate for us.
Yeah.
My
say.
current psychological state.
Well, I'm just saying, like, heaven is supposed to be a nice place, but then it just turns out to really be hell in the long run.
Oh, that's it's an allegory for Southern California, which is currently on fire. Just to make this nice and dated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
true.
Hey, so yeah, look at that. Good thing
Oh,
I
no,
left
I've
Los Angeles
got
when I
a
did.
coworker who was upset because some of his computer parts are being shipped over, and he got the notice that it was going to be like he got 2-day delivery, but it was going to be late, and they even said in the notice that due to the wildfires, their delivery routes have been blocked, and so it's going to take a little extra time. And he was aggravated, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that half a state being destroyed in a fire is inconveniencing
Well,
you."
there's fucking 49 other states. Who gives a shit about one of them? Jesus.
Well, I mean,
Why are my
like,
balls gigantic?
some
now?
of those states are Delaware, though.
Some
You know
of
what I
them.
mean?
Oh yeah, I
That
forgot
doesn't
about.
really count.
I forgot
the
there is
outlying Delawares.
also Mississippi and
multiple
Alabama.
Delawares.
I forgot about that.
Kyle, you never know what's happening with that Delawares. Also, I mean, Nick, as far as reasons to get pissed about your shit being late, like computer parts, that's silly, but it would have been a little more justified if it was like, due
God
to
damn,
the
that's a lot
influx
to
of people
read.
mining bitcoins, we're not able to ship out your video card until 5 months
Oh
from now.
god, this game is
Due
basically
to
hard at
Bitcoin
across
mining,
and
due to Bitcoin mining, our economy, our local economy has been ruined, and therefore computer parts are worth literally nothing.
Oh man, did you guys?
Due to
sorry,
Bitcoin mining, we're shutting down several nuclear power plants.
Yeah. Oh no, our computer parts are now completely invaluable and have been stolen by Bitcoin raiders.
Oh boy, shit.
Oh, yeah. Libertarians broke in and stole all of it.
Yeah, some dude
On a-
came
on
in
a road
and
which they
shotgun
refused to pay
Barry for a
taxes
video
for.
card.
So I'm just sorry. I don't mean to bring it back to the game, but did you guys read?
Yes, you do.
Did you guys read any of that stuff that was in that little cutscene area?
No, we were busy boo-hooing about Delaware or something. I don't remember what the fuck you were talking
Dude,
about.
it was pretty amazing. It was like hard head levels of fucked. So,
Yeah. That's why I
The
stopped reading it.
The only time...
I
only
saw
time
what
I've
a
ever
dramatic
been in
moment.
Delaware
I
is
said
when I
that's
was-
good enough for me.
I read across, so I wanted to know more, but then it like, oh shit,
Like how I done told you twice.
oh man. So this game basically to me is New Zealand story mixed with hardhead levels of weird shit.
It looks more like fucking Decap Attack, so why don't you just go on ahead with your obscure video game bingo card
Or
and
Snow
mushroom stamp that
Bros.
bitch and mail it back to hell where it belongs.
In the
Yeah,
sky.
it's
Oh,
kind of looking like
fuck.
Snow Bros with those new elves.
Yeah. Did you know that there's a
There's only
Snow
one
Bros.
kind of
3?
snow bro I want. You catch my drift.
Man, this is fucked. This is the best Easter decoration I've ever seen.
Dude, I want to get that. I want to have that in my
Head
house.
cracks open and vomits fire in several directions.
I'm
It
gonna
is
give
an
that to Johann
appropriate like
Sons.
symbol because much like the holiday itself, it doesn't have any cogent reason to exist. And no one knows quite
it
what to
makes
do with
zero
it.
sense and is way more costly than what it's worth.
How do I fight this fucker?
And also, nobody can market it. Like, there's no Easter specials.
Nobody can tell you where it actually came from.
No. And also,
You know who did try to make an... Oh, God. Okay, here's one. All right. You know who did try to make an Easter special at one point?
who was it? Fucking
Fucking...
Trump?
Why would you guess that? Shut
I don't
up.
know because
It
he said
was,
to guess.
It was Will Vinton. Worse than Trump by 1,000 miles. Will Vinton. And I learned... Because as if I didn't have enough reasons to like abhor it already, the only reason it's still around is because it's popular with vor fetishists. because there's a scene where they get swallowed by a shark.
Oh.
Great idea, right? That's a good scene in a fucking Easter special, right? Any
Yeah.
good Easter story should include get eaten by a shark, right? But in any case.
oh man.
Also, what else? There was something similar to that too. No. It was remember Weird Answer Command?
no.
No one remembers that. Okay, it was this cartoon on Nickelodeon.
Keith,
that had
half
like,
the shit you talk about, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I just
it's
have to
funny, too,
assume
because
maybe it's
everybody
real.
my age doesn't remember my shit either, and like I accuse them of being aughts kids, and they get more offended than if I accuse them of being racist.
Well, because Keith, like, I don't. So we've discussed that you're from weird ass fucking New England. So like, there's a bunch of shit that just I think exists there that doesn't exist in the real world.
Yeah, it is
So-
literally
No,
like
fucking Nickelodeon
Innsmouth.
was nationwide.
Right,
Yeah,
but
the
still.
whole Eastern Seaboard is literally just Innsmouth. You're a bunch of goddamn weird fish people, and you don't belong on the surface.
Is Innsmouth something from Lord of the Rings? Is that where the Numenorians got killed?
Close enough.
Or whatever.
Lovecraft.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, whatever.
Town of
Fuck
fishmen. Well,
Oh.
interbred fishmen.
They must have added that long after I stopped playing, because I'd be all over interbred anything fish.
What the fuck are you talking about?
no, he's talking about Lovecraft, dude.
Not Warcraft, which I
Oh!
assume is where you went.
Yeah, I thought you said Minecraft.
Oh.
I'm like,
You know
they
what?
added interbred fishermen to Minecraft?
Yeah,
hell
a
yeah.
seaside community of people fucking fishmen in exchange for gold baubles would actually be a pretty big patch to Minecraft.
Sounds
it would
very
fit right in with
libertarian.
Enderman and everything.
I knew you were going to take
add
the Ron Paul
bitcoins to
route
it,
on
and
that.
you got to add Bitcoin to that formula, and you get yourself a pilot script. I'll make it
there you
longer, and
go.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, that's how we adapt. That's how we adapt the Shadow over Innsmouth to meet a modern crowd. Is that these seaside people were breeding with fishmen in exchange for bitcoins that they were somehow finding at the bottom of the ocean.
That's the only way left to mine
they-
them. Like, you can't mine them with electricity anymore, so they have to like go to the space between realms or whatever the fuck.
Oh
You know what I
god.
mean?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Now, before you, I'm pointing. You can't see, but I'm pointing at both of you.
If
Before
you just
you
point
did
generally
that
east,
conversation,
that works.
Yeah, you'll hit one of
like
us at least.
Sauron. Yeah, but like, fucking. Oh yeah, Weird Answer Command was this other cartoon no one remembers that was on Nickelodeon every 45 seconds, and it had these three idiots that would like, try to like. It was basically kind of Snopes, but it was like a cartoon. Cartoon characters doing like just debunking
Horse
myths
shit.
or whatever. But
Apocryphal
Yeah, well-
schoolyard fuckers, as we've.
sort of. Well, it would have been better if it was like that, but it was kind of like comically exaggerated. The point being, one of them was like, I forget why, but the experiment was how many potato chips could they possibly eat or whatever, like playing off them, like you can't eat just one or something. I forget. Like, joke was something about that.
Right.
But the character eats potato chips until they become immobilized by corpulency, and apparently this very obscure cartoon that like nobody remembers, that one clip is still circulated widely online by like inflation fetishists.
Jesus.
So there's like,
I love that
Oh,
children's things are ruined by sex perverts.
Yeah, man.
But in like, but not in a harmful way.
well, I mean,
Like just in a way
it's-
that's
it's a-
fucked up and weird and just makes people uncomfortable rather than ruins a
Well, it's-
child's life.
It's also a thing that kind of makes me observe, like, because there's a lot of things that are probably weird about people now, just because of the way that we, like, what we consumed when we grew up. Like, I've been watching television
sure,
recently, where it's got this fucking tent thing that you can get for kids, and it's like, kids love to read, and it's like a little tent that you can put on your bed. And I'm like, this is probably gonna make people like fucked up in a weird way that I can't even fathom just yet, because
I thought you were gonna say that kids are just gonna use it to jack off.
well, probably.
What
But
are
it's
you
just
worried
like-
that kids
but-
are just gonna stay inside all day? Because guess fucking what, son?
No, I mean, like, it's gonna be
Yeah.
like kids can't sleep without like those fucking like crazy covers that they had in Beetlejuice over your bed, like just basically stuff like that. Is
What the waking fuck are you talking about?
the movie Beetlejuice? Lydia, she had.
Yeah, you said that one the first time. You can say it as many times as you want. You can say it 3 times. Beetlejuice ain't gonna show up and explain what the fuck you're talking about to us. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're even
Oh,
on
God.
about.
That's a
the
best of
weird
moment.
covers from Beetlejuice.
No, okay. In her bedroom, she's got a bed with like a cover thing
Oh.
over her bed, and that's not what it made me think of.
Oh God, now I know what you're talking about, but they're not from Beetlejuice.
But
They're
that's like the quickest
Victorian
thing I could point to
bullshit.
that you would understand
Oh,
in the
God
simplest
damn
amount
you,
of
Kyle.
words.
Fuck you.
And yet, no one is going to remember that detail of Beetlejuice. So you picked
Yeah,
the worst
speaking of
possible
not
example.
remembering, that was the original point I was getting to. Was just like there's an added element of tragedy. It's not that they're like ruining childhood staples, because these are all obscure cartoons that vanished from the face of the earth, and like 3 weirdos remember them. Like, oh yeah, I remember that cartoon's around or whatever. And then when I go to Google it, the only results are like some even more desperate weirdo saying, I remember that cartoon because I want to fuck it. You know? And that's the only...
Oh, man.
Like, that's the only avenue by which this has been inducted into any kind of collective cultural consciousness, and that's got to be kind of a bitter pill, right?
Right.
Like, you make a cartoon, which must have taken, like, a year, because that's back before computers. You labor over this cartoon, hand animating it, and maybe it's Steamboat Willie. Maybe you launch an empire and become like, you know, you start, it's the launch of a huge successful career. Maybe 30 years from now, there's just a small community, a tight-knit, granted community of weirdos jacking it to a scene that you did not intend to be sexual in any way. That you never could have dreamed would be sexual.
Yeah, that's got to be like the worry of the current generation's animators is, I don't want to make something that people want to fuck.
Actually, I think it's the opposite.
Yeah, I think people want everybody to fuck their things.
Well, okay, I don't want to make something that people like only because they want to fuck it.
Oh,
Right.
There you go.
I think they've worked in like a skillful like that's kind of the natural selection at this point. The selective pressure is, can you design a thing that some of the people will want to fuck all the time, and all of the people will want to fuck some of the time.
You think that's maybe
shit.
like a talk that they have at like children's cartoon like animation studios where they say like, all right,
Schools.
let's go over some of the more obscure but prominent fetishes. like
before
I
they
don't think
decide
they
to
talk
make
about that
their
at the
perfect
studio.
product.
yeah,
Or-
like
I hope they're talking about
somebody's
that
got
in
an
class.
idea for like a character that just like innocently and absentmindedly keeps eating some of the other characters, and they're like, yeah, it's fun. Like, he doesn't kill him or anything. It's just like he keeps putting them in his mouth, and they're like, well, let's talk about that. Let's explore
lemon
this
grab.
space and inform you on why that's a terrible idea.
Is that a fetish
at
yet?
some
Like
studio
someone,
somewhere. Some company, are there still like Christian media companies? Because
Yeah.
they'll be like, we want to do the story of Jonah and the whale, and someone's gonna have to go,
Yeah, let's cut back on let's actually make the eating part very, very brief.
yeah, and very abstract. No, we'll just animate him inside the stomach. No.
Yeah,
Well, no, because then that's
What,
making
is
me.
it too?
If it's just a pair of eyes and the inky blackness, let's stick with
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Do you
what's
think-
making me really
what,
curious
do you
is-
think it's too scary for kids?
Yes,
not for
absolutely.
kids. It's not what the kids are gonna think that I'm worried about. Actually.
Well, because like that makes me think of. Do you think there's a fetish out there now because of Lemon Grab and Adventure Time?
Yes.
Where like someone wants to get eaten by themselves.
Whatever you're about to say, yes.
Like.